Wait a minute. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I done messed around and had myself muted. How y'all doing this evening? welcome to the Daryl Show. As always, I like for you guys to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for coming in this evening. 9:00 on the Eastern Coast and it's 6:00 on the West Coast. Uh, and love you guys. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Hope you guys have had a great week. As far as football goes, I have pretty much given up on NFL football because those Atlanta Falcons we had to lead in the fourth quarter. That's all I got to say. And we flew all the way to Germany, wasted up all that good jet fuel just to lose in overtime. I guess the defense was tired, but whatever. We're here. Excuse me. How y'all doing this evening? Hope all is well. Hope your family is well. Hope your children are well. Hope, everything is well. Hope your job is well. It just so happened with this episode tonight. Now, I honestly don't have a lot to say tonight, but we're gonna talk as long as we can talk and just see where it goes. Again, in my description, I said that I am not a tax professional. However, some of this stuff is just basic. So we're gonna talk about taxes tonight. Tonight's episode is called "No Taxation Without Destination." That's what we're gonna call it. I didn't want to quote whatchamacallit too much. I know ain't no copyright infringement on it or anything like that, but I like to be my own man as much as possible. But anyway, how y'all doing this evening? Hopefully all is well. Hopefully we're all being fiscally responsible, spiritually responsible, physically responsible. I had a great day. I went outside and rake leaves, and what happened to the young men knocking on your door to ask to cut your grass or to rake your leaves or whatever? What happened to those days? With the advent of PlayStation 5 and Xbox One and all that type of stuff, it seems as if though these young men are not interested in doing that anymore. I think what it is, we're making these kids too we're making them too soft. They don't want to work for anything anymore because they could just yell out, "Hey, Ma, can I have some money for Roblox?" or whatever it is. I don't know. But anyway, all is well. We're here. About 6.5 minutes in. Man. So I just want to talk real quick. It's not gonna be long at all, I told God, I was like, "Hey, this one's on you today, my guy." But I just think I really believe in my heart this right here is something that we all should know. We all should know. Excuse me. I think it's something we all should know because we have a responsibility. The people that serve us, i.e., people in government, they have a responsibility. And well, the Bible tells us that the government or the leader is God's minister. He wields the sword, right? So a sword is for correction, direction, all of these different things. But there's a lot of chatter online. It's always been this way. A lot of chatter online about people talking about what they want their taxes to do and what they don't want their taxes to do. But the crazy part is I don't think most people really know what their taxes do and how much they're taking and all that type of stuff. So we're just going to talk a little bit about, everything from, taxes, tax rates, fiscal years, and all of these things, because I really think that an informed people is a strong people, is a powerful people. And as long as you're informed, then you're empowered, then you're able to live and move the way that you need to. Okay. So for fiscal year 2024, the United States government, I took notes. I got my notes right here. Okay. I have notes written down because I'll be forgetting and I don't want to keep forgetting. I want to make sure I'm on point. Okay. Anyway, so for fiscal year 2024, fiscal year is a fiscal year. It doesn't necessarily have to be from January to December. Hours just so happen to be from October 1st to September 30th every year as far as government goes. That's for collecting taxes, coming up with budgets and things like that. And I just read a headline. I haven't dove too deep into it yet, but I read a headline saying that moderate Democrats caved and the government is about to reopen. Now, I don't. That's a good thing to some, and others it could probably be the worst thing that could ever happen. But I hear there's a deal, and so I don't know. Anyway, but for fiscal year 2024, the federal government took in about $5 trillion in tax revenue. Okay, so it's about $5 trillion for fiscal year 2024. So fiscal year 24 was from um, September 30th, 2023 to no, I'm sorry, October 30th, September 30th to October September 30th, 2023 to October 1st, 2024. Okay. Okay, had to make sure I got that right. So they took in about 5 trillion of income tax revenue. Okay. Of that, it's broken down to pretty much three sections. Individual income taxes, that means you and me, people that go to work. Those income taxes were um, about $2.4 trillion. So roughly half, almost half, because the number is different. The numbers vary, but from the Office of Congressional Manager Budget, whoever, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, because Congress holds the keys to the purse strings. Okay, so what that means is any money that's supposed to be spent in the United States, Congress has to get together, vote on it, and say, hey, this is what we're going to allocate for this. This is what we're going to allocate for that. And we're supposed to take money that we have and pay it towards our national debt. Okay. So so the purse strings always flow through Congress. So what that means is technically Congress is the most powerful office that we have here in the United States because it pretty much hinges on their 435 members. You have a different amount of members based on the population of the state. The different districts and things like that broken down. I ain't got time for all that today, okay? But with that, Congress says, okay, we got to get this budget in by this particular day, October 1st. That's when it starts. We got to get this done by September 30th, so we can send it. Well, they get it done before that because they have to agree on the budget. Then the Senate they send it across the hall or down the hall to the Senate. They have to agree on it and say, then from that point, and once all of that takes place, then they send it to the president. He signs off on it. Okay. So the legislative and the executive are the two biggest they offer the two biggest roles in that process. All right. So for fiscal year 2024, there was about $2.4 trillion that was collected. Okay. From individuals paying income taxes, like you and me going to work every day, and they're taking it out of your check. And I've said this before, and I say it again: we do not pay tax. We don't pay taxes. They take taxes. The only time you pay taxes is if they feel as if though they haven't collected enough based on your income at the end of the year. That's why we have to file by April 15th. You have somebody do your taxes, and so on and so forth. So, and today's number that I'm using, I'm just using a regular number, okay? And then the next biggest portion of that 5 trillion are payroll taxes. Payroll taxes are paid for by corporations that have employees. So that was $1.7 trillion for fiscal year 2024. Okay, so there's nothing that we can't do anything about that. I don't know that people have they look for ways to save in that area, but at the end of the day, it's literally the cost of doing business and having people that are employed. Okay. Then you have corporate income taxes. Now, corporate income taxes is a smaller number, but it's a smaller number on purpose. We'll get to that in a little while. It's about $530 billion. So you have 2.4 trillion, 1.7 trillion, and 530 billion. That's the number for corporate taxes. By that means everything that couldn't be written off in the fiscal year. And now, because certain people are in place now, people could write off jets, they can write off their Range Rovers, they can write off their F-350s, F-250s. There's certain things that Suburbans, there's certain things that you could do to get a tax break now to save on corporate tax. So, and that's all started with Ronald Reagan. That's okay. So the median income for 2024 for a single individual was about $45,140. Okay. For a family or a household, it's about $83,730. Almost double, not quite double, but almost double. Okay. Um, if you break it down, it's a little bit less than $1,000 per week, about $750, $800 a week. That's average, salary for a single person is about 50. Now this is the median. It's definitely higher, definitely lower, but we're just talking about right there in the middle on that flat line. So it can go anywhere from 750, 800 a week to, according to this, about 1192, which is about almost $60,000 for the year. Okay. So we're just going to use this number right here. We're just going to use $50,000. Okay. We're going to say just $50,000 is roughly about $850 a week. That's about how much a person, the median income is, for, uh, your paycheck. That's how much you make. Okay. Okay. So $50,000. So $50,000 divided by 50, I'm going to say 52, because that's how many weeks in a year. It's about 961. Okay. So that's about $961. I should have did all that before I started, but it's about $961. Okay. So of that, this is how taxes work. This is just a basic. This is something basic. I'm not even going to be here long. I hope I may not be here past 40 minutes. Okay. So basically, that's about $961 a week. So we're going to round up to 962. About 31.3% of that goes to taxes. Okay. So that number equates to about $15,650. So from $50,000, you start at 50. By the time you get down with taxes, you down to like $35,000. Hold on. Thought I had to sneeze. Anyway, I probably do. So the taxes are broken down like this. About 14% of that, about 14% of that 31.3% is income taxes, federal income taxes. Now, I'm not including state and local taxes in this because there are a few states that do not have state income tax. There's about 9 states, I think it is. But all 50 states, plus plus the U.S. territories, all pay federal taxes. Now, all territories do not participate and get representation. Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Island, Guam don't necessarily always get representation at the federal level, but they do pay federal income taxes. You can't, American Samoa, all of those, you cannot get around paying federal income taxes in the United States of America. Okay. And not only that, America is considered sovereign when it comes to that. So you can't do anything beyond that. It's almost like, as David said to God, if I make my bed in hell, I can't get away from you. So you can't do anything to get away from federal income taxes. Okay. So about 31% of 3.3%, about 15 grand is federal income taxes. Okay. And 14% of that is federal income taxes, which is progressive. Okay. So what that means is this: it goes up or down by how much money you make. Okay. So we're just using $50,000. So $50,000 is about 15K. But if you made 100,000, it's about 30K. So it goes up and down, right? Payroll taxes account for about 6.2% of that. And that's how individuals pay for Social Security and Medicare. All right. And I'm sorry, that's about how you pay for Social Security. And about 1.4% of that is how you pay for Medicare. All right. Now, mind you, we're talking about the median income in the United States. So we're talking about everybody. We're going to say around, America has about 340 million people. We're going to say about I'm going to say about 220 million people, give or take a couple million. Okay. That's okay. And then the employer matches the 7.565%. Okay. So the 6.2 to 1.4 is about 6.5, 6.5, 7.5, 7.65. It's about the same. Okay. It matches, it lines up. So the 7% that I'm responsible for, my employer is supposed to match. That um goes up under the payroll tax. Okay. So with that, our taxes are broken down in things that are what they call, excuse me, things that are called guaranteed. Okay. So guaranteed stuff, and nothing you can do about those. Like you have what they call you got the tax budget, payroll, then you have health, military, you have we have stuff like health, military, you have the president, you have his cabinet, you have Congress, you have all of these different things that comes out of your taxes. So, and but people have this idea that certain things are certain things that you can do like whatever, right? People feel as if though they have a say so in what they can do with their tax money. But honestly, you don't. You don't have a say so because again, America is sovereign. So with America being sovereign, that means they pretty much can take your money and do what they want to with it. Okay. Yes, there are certain things they have to do by law. By law, they have to fund. They have to fund the federal government by law. They have to fund the military. They have to fund. They literally have to fund Congress. Whenever the government shut down, Congress does not go without a paycheck. No, all 435 or 400 535 members of Congress does not go without a paycheck. The U.S. military may go without a paycheck. The president doesn't go without a paycheck. So the people that are in control of whether our neighbors get SNAP benefits or whatever the case may be, they do not go without a paycheck. I want you to let that sink in. And the only thing Congress ever seems to agree on, and this is all public knowledge, they always agree on giving themselves a raise every few years. And they're not gonna go without a paycheck. And most of those people are lawyers. Most of them are the millionaires. All of these things. So it seems to me, government is the biggest hustle in the world. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that government is bad because government is something that we need. Jesus even said the government is on his shoulders. So we need government. But at the end of the day, we also need transparency. We need honesty. We need people to tell the truth about anything. So, but as I went down my list, one of the numbers that stick out is corporate tax. Now, America doesn't run without a middle class. Okay. You have the rich, most of those learn how to incorporate and things like that. You have the rich that's going to make sure they're always covered. And then not only do we have these income taxes and different things like that, but then we have sales taxes, we have property taxes, we have you name it. America is one of the most taxed countries in the world. The United States of America, not North America, United States of America. And it's unfortunate, but I kind of sort of use this analogy right here. We see people and leaders that will take our money and they will take our money and they're supposed to divvy it up and put it in different accounts and things like that. So when the thing arises, they can say, okay, that's already covered, i.e. the SNAP benefits ran or the government shut down. So the SNAP benefits ran out. So there was supposed to be a contingency plan in place to make sure everybody eats. Okay. So they said, well, hey, we may not have all the money, but we have 75% of it to make sure that everybody eats. Okay. But um but we have people who take that and they take it for granted. They take money and they do whatever. Now, there's a conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory out right now, and I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. However, our current president, somebody's saying, and I can see it. I'm not even gonna lie. Somebody's saying that they believe that the contingency money for the SNAP benefits were stolen. And with what I've been seeing, to me, it's not too far fetched. I can almost see how someone can rape and pillage our accounts, America's accounts. And then because it amazes me how if you really cared about the people, the citizens of the country that you're in, that you're leading, why is it that it takes a court system to tell you to take care of your people? And every time that court system tells you to do it, you always find to say, no, I don't want to do it. It's almost like, and we understand why the government was shut down. But it's almost like you're using people's hunger as a bargaining chip. Meanwhile, people talk about SNAP benefits and all that type of stuff, but the vast majority of people on SNAP have jobs, and they're full-time jobs that are not paying a livable wage. When I first started working back in 1994, when I got a legal job in 1994, a minimum wage was $4.25. And it actually came up from like $3.85 or something like that. But the minimum wage was $4.25 back then. And this was in, I want to say the number, but it was way back in 1994. I got my first legal job that I had to clock in because I was already cutting grass and things like that. I ain't paying no taxes for that. But I got my first legal job in September 1994. I turned 16 August 1994, and by September I was clocking in at KFC, and they were collecting taxes from me. So I've been in the game since then. Okay, but in 1994 I was making $4.25 an hour, and it sounds like back then it was a lot to me. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Getting that paycheck for like $180 for that first paycheck for like $180 for them 2 weeks, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I remember I went and bought me some new shoes for school. Okay. I'll never forget it. And I bought the Dion's too. And the baby was clean. I wore the soles off them doggone shoes. But anyway, but now the minimum, man, by minimum, we're talking about the least you could pay a person is $7.25. So that's $3 over the last 31 years. Come on now. I told y'all last week about this lady that was at the Dollar General. She said she made about $200 a week. That was her paycheck. And I'm sitting up here like something has to give. It doesn't make sense for the powers that be to take advantage of his people like that. Because we're gonna go back to that corporate tax. That corporate tax is $530 billion. So what that means is about 3 or 4 times of the money as a group, as a conglomerate, as a nation, we're paying about 3 to 4 times more in income taxes than the corporate entities are paying. And I get it. You're paying 1.7 trillion for payroll taxes, but that's the cost of doing business. But you're taking advantage of people, and then you're making and finding loopholes for you to steady increase your coffers while everyone else is out here scrambling. The number one thing and the number one point I want to make with today's show, because again, I'm not going to be here long, is if poor people, black people, brown people all decide to stand up, this game will be over. If everyone decides to, if you're not in the top 1%, if you're not getting those corporate benefits and things like that, if we decide to stand up, the game will fall over off of our backs. They're playing chess while we're on our hands and knees, holding up the chessboard. But if we all were to get together and say, enough is enough, I think that we could have whatever it is that we want. Like I always like I'm a truck driver, so we got this. It's this inside joke my old team partner and I had, where we said that if we really want things to change in the United States, I was like, we always say we don't have to protest all over the world. We just got to protest around Washington D.C. When Congress is in session and things like that. We protest around Washington D.C. by not delivering goods, we'll get some things to change. But the problem with it is, as truck drivers, we can't get everybody on one accord. They don't even want us to have union representation. Yeah, we have the Teamsters. My job doesn't want us to have union representation. My job pays pretty decent. I'm not gonna fuss and complain, and we get steady raises every year, and I praise God for that. But if people were to come together, agreement, if we were to agree and just try to, if we can agree on something and try to just, we can move the needle on different parts of America. Like, but it seems like, but the powers that be in the media that's involved has done a great job. But basically, getting people to think that they serve the politicians when the politicians are supposed to serve us. They have phone numbers, they have social media, they have all of these things that we can call, we can fuss, we can complain, and they should listen. They're supposed to listen simply because they care about you as a person and your vote and things like that, and they want to remain in power. But a lot of people in power right now are power drunk. So all of these numbers I just gave you, they don't care about because most not believers, most um, politicians will go in humble, go in begging for donations and things like that. But a lot of those people end up coming out wealthy, wealthier than they went in. That don't make a that don't set off a red flag. If you started out, with $250,000 in student loan debt, and 10 years later, now you got 25 million or $30 million in your bank account after being reelected 2 or 3 times. There should be a red flag popping up somewhere right there. And then you become, or they become what it is they say they don't want to be. They beg for your vote, and then people are lazy. People are lazy, and so whoever's saying the right thing, because I've noticed a push here lately. This was one particular lady in Georgia's District 14. I'm just gonna say her initials MTG, and she's making it seem as if though she has um she has stepped up to hang to be with the people. And I keep telling my team part, I'm like, I'm not falling for that. It's re-election time for her in 2026. Her job is on the line because as soon as you as soon as you rehabilitate a snake, that snake gonna turn around and bite you. I don't trust people as a whole, not a whole lot. If I would probably more like Thomas. I need to see some things from people. Until I see something, you don't really get my trust like that. And I know that's not really a good place to be in. Like, yeah, I have people that I can trust, blind trust, like a space partner. However, I don't trust politicians no more, and I can throw them. Because if you make $50,000, $15,650. Now we're gonna just multiply that by 250 million trillion, yeah, 250 million people. That's a lot of money. And I understand, people have this idea like, why are we giving our money to foreign countries and things like that? You got to think about this. Just like I'm gonna bring it closer to home. If you have an uncle or an aunt that's a millionaire, right? And you and your family hit hard times, and you need to find somewhere to move, or let's just say if your house burns down, or your house is foreclosed on for whatever reason, you lost a job, whatever the case may be. That aunt or uncle say, you call your aunt or uncle or whomever, a big brother, whomever, and you say, hey, I need to borrow 100K. Now I know black people, we don't have that type of wealth as a conglomerate, as in total, but just numbers we're using. I need to borrow 100K to help my family get back on its feet. Or I need to come live with you guys. Me, my wife, and my 3 children need to come live with you guys until we can get back on your feet. Which one is more beneficial? Your uncle's probably going to say, here's the money. And that's how we have to look at sending money to other countries, because instead of trying to get everybody to come over here to use up our resources, not used to what we're doing, like, it's best for them to stay where they live, and what they understand, and the people that's around them to say, hey, here's a grant for you to rebuild, things like that, or here's money for you to rebuild. It makes no sense. As Americans, we have put ourselves on this pedestal as to be a light on the hill. So it's better for us to give them, for help people to to stabilize where they live. Now we've also destabilized different places as well. But we ain't talking about that right now. So when people say, "Oh, we send out money to all these foreign locations," you really step back and think. Because if it was me, if I was the millionaire, and so one of my family members needed the money, it would be best for me to send the money. Yeah, it would be best for me to send the money, okay? Because I got my space and my piece over here. I got ways that I do things over here, and then when you start letting people not gonna do things like you do it all the time. My son lives here. And the Joker came to left my house the other day, left my door unlocked. He went play basketball all day long. I'm like, bro, come on, man. You know, he operate like that. Now I know he didn't do it on purpose, but just imagine people doing that coming at you from all angles. So it's best if we got a couple dollars. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Now, it's best that we do what we have to do to make sure that we take care of our own. That's number one. Okay, it's always best that we do that. Yep, that's right. It's always best that we do that. It's always best as Americans that we take care of our own. But at the end of the day, it's if we have it, because clearly we have it, trillions of dollars come in every fiscal year. If we have it, it's best for us to send 20 million or $1 billion over to wherever to make sure. Now, I'm not gonna get on the Israel and Palestine thing. I'm not gonna do that. I don't, but I will say this: I don't believe the Israel that's in place now is the children of Israel of the Bible. But we're not talking about it right now. I don't want to get canceled before I get started. I don't believe that. This is the Israel that was created in 1947. But y'all send me your emails, you send me your calls, whatever. You can leave a message in the comments so we can if we want to deal with that. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is the Israel of the Bible that we're talking about. But it's neither here nor there. But politically speaking, this Israel is beneficial to the United States as an ally. And that Israel allows for our federal government to parrot and use the Bible as a leeway to do whatever it is that they want to do. But again, we're not talking about that right now. That's another story, another time, another season. I don't want to be canceled. Okay, I'm not against Jewish people. I'm not against Palestinian people. Um, but I also that's all right. We're not talking about that. But anyway, I'm not a Zionist or anything like that. But yeah, I really think that our taxes, like, it's like out of this, let's just say $144 a year, maybe, is for somebody to get, I don't know how much, maybe $1,400 a year is used to take care of other people and their medical expenses. Like, we don't even pay taxes. They take taxes. We don't get the opportunity. We don't get every dime that we make. We don't get our gross. We get what they decide after they subtract everything. I'm no longer child support no more. Let me go on here to clap that up. So they ain't taking out no child support. They taking out taxes and health insurance from me. And my health insurance is already $150 a week with just myself and Scooter. That's $600 a month. So, and that's insurance to my job. So these things, ain't nothing we can do about this. Ain't nothing we can do about this. Yes, General Sean Harris. That's his name. He's a general, Auntie Sent. Yes, John Harris. He's a general. But there's nothing we can do about this. And I want people to really think about what's going on. The biggest earners are paying the least. The American middle class is what keeps everybody afloat. If you below the poverty line or at or below the poverty line, you don't do as much. If you make above, I think 400K, you don't do as much. It's only the middle class. So I'm a truck driver. So we have a shortage. There's about 3 million truck drivers that services the whole United States and Canada and Mexico. So just look at those types of numbers. You have the middle class, we'll just say just roughly 225, maybe 250 million people are in the middle class. So those amount of people take care of everybody basically because everybody else finds a way to get out of it. Now, we're not talking about poor people. Poor people can't help the situation they're in most times, especially poor black people, if we're honest, because we're not talking about this today, but a lot of things were taken away from us, especially after slavery. We didn't get our 40 acres and a mule. We got red lines. We got all of these things. So we weren't able as a whole, as a race of people to um stack wealth like everyone else did. I'm gonna have to bring somebody else on to talk about that because, I don't want nobody to think I'm being whatever, but at the end of the day, I believe in telling the truth. And the truth is, this is the way it happened. But fiscal year 2024, we brought in 5 trillion with a T, $5 trillion, and payroll taxes, not payroll tax, I'm sorry, income taxes, stuff they collect out of our paychecks. And I know what they take out of my paycheck every week. That's a lot of money. Is made up about 2.4 trillion. That's half of what everybody does. That's half of the money. Half of the money is brought in from the people. I haven't gotten into the GDP, the gross domestic product, that is taxes and the stuff that we trade and sell and things like that. I haven't gotten into all of that. I haven't gotten into the debt and all that type of stuff. That the government will give you a tax break if you help them pay down the debt. But the problem with it is they keep running the debt back up. If you look at it, Democrats reduce debt, Republicans increase debt. It's been like that for at least 50 years now. But some people decide to vote against their own interests every single time. Your W-4, that's what you fill out. Your number of deductions, your number of dependents, things like that. All of that stuff matters. I only use $50,000 because it's an easy number to work with. I don't make $50,000. I don't make less than $50,000 either. But every year, I know that I'm going to have to end up sending Uncle Sam a check because I'm single. I'm not married. I don't have any children in order for me to do head of household and things like that. So I just said I didn't say it. You did. I didn't say it, but you did. But I need people to understand, like, it's set up this way for a reason. It's a class thing, rich versus poor. But us middle class people are stuck in the middle, trying to keep everybody afloat. That's why voting matters. That's why voting for the right people matters. Somebody who tells me that voting doesn't matter or work, I ain't got time for them because it's like that people are doing too much in order for you to not vote. Right now, we have people who have pretty much caved in, and allegedly, our our insurance rates are about to double, triple, quadruple, at least for the next year. Because this is a fiscal year budget right here. That's why the government is shut down. They ran out of money. And they're still collecting. Think about this. Your enemy is not me, and I'm not your enemy, and my enemy is not you. It's those that are above us that are being irresponsible. But somehow we have people who, like my aunt said, down on his rich buddies, people like him who stand to benefit way more than anyone, has tricked people into thinking that people that look like me are the ones who's stealing from you. I don't have any way to do it. I don't have any way to take your taxes from you and do what I want to with them. No one in my family is on public assistance. As a matter of fact, I remember this is a Georgia thing. I had to pay extra child support because my children never been on TANF before. It was a fine or a fee I had to pay every year because of that. I did what I could to make sure that they were eating, things like that. But look at the people that's telling you not to. The person that's telling you to look somewhere else, that's who you need to look at. That's where your problem is. I see this quote. I've been saying it for the last week. You're not 2 paychecks away from being a billionaire. And that's true. You're 2 paychecks away from being on SNAP. The average person doesn't have money saved up that they can just fall back on to live for the next 3 or 4 years. They don't. Things are higher. Things are higher than ever A tariff is a tax. But the person that's occupying and tearing down 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue knows that, yet people choose not to believe what it is. It's literally a tax. If you ship a load of Nikes from China, if you ship a load of Nikes from China and it's going to cost $18,000 to get in at the border, at the port, and you put in, if you got 100% tariff on China, that means it's going to cost $36,000 to get into the United States just to get to the stores. That's what the tariff is. It has to be paid. They're just going to send the product. They don't care what you do with it when it gets to the port. And of course, that 18,000 is going to go to you, because the company is not going to say, "Oh, we're going to take an $18,000 loss just to sell this at the same price it is." No, this is simple stuff. But people are people are losing their jobs and all of this type of stuff just to uphold someone else's issue. I just, I really just want people to sit there and learn. This stuff is Googleable. We don't have encyclopedias no more. Everybody has a computer nowadays. You got a smartphone, you got a computer. I'm past the point of doing, I'm past the point of doing research for other people. People want to argue about, well, what about this? What about that? Go look it up. I'm not gonna let nobody stress me in no area, no way, shape or form. Because I just want people to be equal. What you call it, socialism, but we call ourselves believers. There's no way. There's no way we have people out here that's doing the stuff they're doing right now, and you asking who's your neighbor. The whole world is your neighbor. The parable of the Good Samaritan and the children of Israel. These people were the enemies. It was on two opposite ends of the spectrum. Yet the Samaritan looked beyond where he was from. Even his own people looked over him and said, "You know what? I want you to get better. And not only do I want you to get better, I'm going to make sure you're good until you can get better." That's how we're supposed to operate. I'm telling you, I done won the Powerball and the Mega Million in my mind, and I've already given half of it away. I've already given half of it away. I know how much my family and I need to live a life of, I know that already. I've already given it away. Who needs $500 billion? If you got the ability to make it, make it. But who needs it? Honestly, what can you buy for what is it on this earth that costs $501 billion that you got to step on somebody like me, people that watch my podcast, to get to that number? One of these guys right now talking about being the world's first trillionaire. For what? For what? They say that generational wealth runs out about the fifth generation anyway. So while you're dead and gone, your great, 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 great grandchildren is back on the streets. Unless you do it God's way. There are some righteous people out there who have millions and billions of dollars. I'm sure there are. Mackenzie Scott, she's one of them. And I don't really boost people up like that, but this white lady is doing her thing. She's out here doing the Lord's work. She's giving to HBCU. She's giving to different programs and things like that. And God bless her for that. If y'all know her number, hook me up with her. I'll try to get me a little piece of change before she try to give me a little piece of change before she runs out. Cause I'm gonna set my family straight. I'm gonna go there. I'm setting my friends straight. I done already retired Tyrone. I done retired Joe. I retired my mom. I done retired sis, my sister. I done retired my dad. I done retired a few people already in my mind. I done retired myself. That's that's most important. I done already put my children's money in trust. I done put baby Salem's money in trust. So he'll never have to worry about anything. No, but seriously though, Stop fussing and complaining about your taxes. You ain't got no control of what happens to it. Once it doesn't even leave your hands, it leaves your paycheck. Before you get it, they already took it. And they already put it where it is they wanted to go. And then by April 15th, if you've done right, you may not have to pay any more. You may not pay any extra. So no tax on overtime. You're getting taxed on overtime. It's always been a lie. It was a lie from the beginning. You may get a tax credit, but it's still gonna tax that overtime. Then again, if you work too much overtime, you might have to even pay more on top of it. This stuff is public knowledge, people. It's public knowledge. I've been hustled before. You're not gonna hustle me twice. Cause I learned the first time. Yeah, they are. But it's all good though. God said, vengeance is mine. That's the number one thing. And I want to say this, and I'm gonna say this as much as I have to say it. There's eventually, and I don't think it's gonna take long. The tide is going to change. Okay, the tide is going to change, and people are going to start waking up, and they're going to start realizing what's happening. And when they get that aha moment, or that, oh man, how can I let this happen moment? Don't celebrate, please. Don't celebrate these people finally getting what's coming to them. That's the worst thing we can do. Because yes, God is watching how people are doing us, but at the same time, God is also watching how we react when it happens to them. Yeah. He's also watching. He doesn't leave. There's nothing to get past God. He looks at our hearts. I'm telling you, I see certain things. I don't lie, it's funny, but certain things I don't share, I don't post or anything like that, simply because I understand and I know that we reap what we sow. I reaped enough. I've already sown enough in my day. I don't want to reap no extra. I only want the good things to come to me and mine. I don't I don't pick on nobody's children. Now I will call your child musty, but I don't talk about nobody or anything like that because I got a grandboy on the way now. I don't want nobody to talk about him. But don't celebrate Auntie Scent. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I promise you, it's not. It is not worth it. Do not celebrate. Let God deal with them. That's right. It's lackeys. That's it is what it is. But I still gave y'all 50 minutes, 51 minutes. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't know I had it in me, but I took notes today. So I love y'all. And I want you guys to have a great week. It's supposed to snow where I'm going for work tomorrow. Dang. Uh, we can't, I pull doubles. So I pull two trailers. So I'm not supposed to drive in the snow. So I don't know if even get a chance to work tonight. Oh, and I'm telling y'all right now, you got a job. Don't be up and jump. Don't get in your feelings and emotions and leave your job right now. No, I saw a video earlier. This lady was talking about, she was clowning this couple because she said the man said that God told him to leave his job. Now, I don't know if God told him that or not. I don't know if he did or didn't. Yeah, I just said that was, but that's, oh, yeah, look. hmm Esther, yeah, I know. I got you. Yeah, hangman always hangs. He built the gallows for himself. I know. But be mindful, be watchful, be careful. Um, Jobs are, um, they're getting few and far between. And if you got something, and if you can partner up, if you can partner up and you can combine incomes, this is a great time to do it. Make sure it's somebody you want to be with, though. If families can get together, if y'all can work it out, do what you got to do. It's a good time to partner up. You don't want to be out here in the cold by yourself. That's proverbially, nor naturally. This is a good time to partner up. This is a good time to get it together. Hey, bro, if your name is not on the lease, Chill, my boy. Don't get out here cutting up and thinking she's just gonna let you live there when she don't have to. Sit down somewhere. It's getting cold out there. Okay. Okay. All them, because these women are smart today. They own homes, they running businesses, they doing all of these things, and they don't need us. Not for money. I definitely pray for you, Auntie Cent. I will. 'Cause I don't want you out here celebrating. These women don't need us out here, man. I don't want to be needed anyway. I want to be wanted. But we're not talking about me in relationships right now. I still got some relationship shows coming, but I don't want to do those shows by myself because I need a female. I want a woman to help co-host that show. But anyway, you guys have a great week. It's supposed to get cold this week. If you live in an older house, drip those faucets. The newer houses, you got PVC pipes, so you don't have to drip your faucets like that. So your faucets are not going to burst or bust. Wind is going to be higher. It's supposed to snow up north. It's supposed to get cold here in Charlotte as well, but then it's supposed to get back in the 70s later in the week. I want you guys to be careful. Pray for the homeless. Pray for those that are unhoused. Pray for the lost as well. Pray for people for their eyes to be open and for them to be enlightened to what's happening around them. Um, we need prayer all the way around. Fast. Do whatever you need to do nowadays. But make sure you cover your family in prayer. Make sure you always greet people with a holy kiss, and always let people know that you love them while you can, because time is drawing nigh. Okay. We are about to experience some tumultuous times here in the next few months, maybe a couple years. We don't know yet, but just know I warned you and I told you it was going to happen. I'm not a prophet, but I am a prophetic person, and we can see the writing on the wall, so to speak. Okay. We can see what's happening, and it would be silly of us to bury our heads in the sand and pretend as if though we don't. You can support who you support. Boy, whomever you support, make sure you stand on everything that they're doing, and make sure they're standing on what you got going on. Okay. I love you guys. I've said that. Always praying for you here. Always I want to give you guys my best. I got to reach out to my sister. I talked to her husband today. Talked to my sister about bringing a special show here soon. We're going to bring Erica back, but this time we're going to bring her husband, the Mr. Funny Man, brother DL. He's going to come back. He's going to come with her this time to talk about something new that they have coming up. Okay. So love you guys. My man's coming back also. Major Turner, he's coming back. That man, he supports me. He acknowledges in all of these things, and I really appreciate that. So again, love you guys. Have a wonderful week. Hopefully I'll see everybody next Sunday. If you have anything like my auntie, I'll pray for you. Things like that. So just reach out to me. Facebook, YouTube, I got all of them. Instagram, Threads, you name it, we're there. Okay. God bless you. God keep you, and have a great week. Love on somebody. Love on somebody. Show people. Be Christ to people. Show them who Christ is through you. Not just your words, but your actions as well. Okay. Give where you can. And if you don't need something, don't take things. Okay. Let those who need it first get to the front of the line. It's okay. There'll be enough left over for you. All right. God bless you. Love you. Hey, little Musty. My bad. I forgot. I was too busy trying to get up out of here because, I'm off to the next thing. Check this out. I forgot to tell you, I need for you to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here. Every time you see this chocolate man with these headphones and this doggone black glasses, you're finna get some good quality content. We over here talking with some sense over here, okay? I want you to let all you people know. Tell them to meet me every Sunday night, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time on Facebook, YouTube, every streaming platform you can find. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and I thank you. I'll catch you next time. All right? Peace.